All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Ruach Kodash, the abundance of my apostles and elders at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. I want to give a hearty Shalom to the elect out there that's pushing this word, giving their body as a living sacrifice, pushing this word until the Lord comes back. And I want to do a quick lesson on how you shouldn't leave your tools out in the rain. And that's just the same for you should always be uh, able and willing to sharpen up on the knowledge that you learned in this truth. Because when you leave your tools out in the rain, what do? They get rusty, you know. And so that's just a metaphor on how we always have to be sharpening our, staying sharp. Not, as well, of course, with the scriptures, but just with your mentality, all overall, you know. Whether it be a sharpen up your people skills, your characteristics, um, you know, shortcomings, and so on. And that just brings me to the first scripture because I mentioned it. Proverbs. In the book of Proverbs, because once you find out that you leave your toolbox in the rain, it's been raining, thunderstorming for a long period of time, and you left your toolbox open out there with your hammer, the hammer, your nail gun, all right, all your screws in there, all right. Might have a couple saws in there, different miscellaneous things, screwdriver, what have you, and a lot of times, in this truth, um, we can fall away from even the basics of scriptures that we've learned. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, 24. Matter of fact, that's not what I want. I wanted 27 and 17. Okay. Proverbs 27, 17. That was a pause scripture too, though. It says, iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. And that's a well-known scripture here that's used mainly a lot of different situations, but people use it for athletics. People use it mainly, boxing, wrestling. All right, and if you do in intellectual activities as well, but like chess or so on. But mainly for this truth, because these scriptures are here for us to learn from. Um, basically, like I made the video, uh, this the scriptures is basically our blueprint for life. And hey, when we're sharpening, keeping ourselves sharp, you'll start to see things click on all cylinders as far as even the littlest things of helping a brother out with a precept that he may want to get, and you may know it. You may be meditating on it, and he's looking for it, and you may just have it in your back pocket. So that's why iron sharpens iron, you know, and you can actually sharpen iron with iron. You can sharpen your knives, steel. It could be steel as well. Just speaking as a metaphor. Just speaking as a metaphor, but the point still stands. Okay. Because there's a growth that's supposed to happen, supposed to take place in your walk, and staying stagnant. You know, whether it be in your daily life or in the scriptures, it will show. This is 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth that to be ashamed, and rightly dividing the word of truth. And you rightly divide the word of truth when you study and you show approved. show approved not only for Yahweh Shemi Oshai, which is the main person, the main ones who you're supposed to show that you're approved from, right? And then comes yourself second, and then others, for the remainder of the body. So we read it again. So study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Right? And read the next verse. But shun profane and vain babbling, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. And when you're not sharpening your sword, whether it be studying scriptures, doing random readings, or going over your notes, all right, you tend to just speak things, utter things, and babble things, rather than know what you're talking about. Stand sharp, stand on point. All right, coming correct. All right, because you got to show yourself the markers that you've been. All right, I already learned this. What other deep level can I get information, and what a level of deep understanding can I get from whether it be a chapter in the scriptures, or whether it be some something in your walk, something that's hindering you, or something that you're doing good at. You always want to monitor that. The scriptures speak about examine thyself, whether you be in the faith. And a lot of times when you don't, you just, because that happens, you're in seasons in this truth where it's because it's a season when you're what authors call writer's block, where you can't really come up with precepts for the videos that you have, or scriptures for the videos that you have, or videos to even do. But the Spirit has it now, basically, where you can do a video on anything. You know what I'm saying? Not pretty much anything, because prophecy is what's happening. So you want to study to make themselves, show themselves approved. Speaking for myself, first and foremost, and you can do that as well. You might be a brother that you're close to. Y'all study together. Y'all test each other, because a lot of times you get better if people test you. Back in school we did flashcards and everything like that. Like that, to make ourselves sharp, so we know it's in our brain, so we know it. You know what I'm saying? So once it's time to test, like this truth, because the Lord tests us on what we learn in the flesh, so we can pass with flying colors. Now, you're not always gonna. Everybody's not a damn brainiac. We're not perfect. If we were perfect, we would know everything whenever we needed it. It's the book of Luke 10:2. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. Because the labor right now is plenteous. There's people, there's bodies needed in this truth that can play different roles, and we can play multiple roles, just like on the workforce, and the spiritual, because the place, I do gigs for. They used to be called labor ready or whatever. So, you always got to be labor ready. All right, but Slaki, I just said that the bodies are there, but I meant to say the labor is there, because the bodies, meaning the men of the Lord, the brothers, can join in on the work. The work gets more done when there's more efficient people that's doing it. But you got to be careful, because you don't want to be like the brothers in Dallas say, pouring into brothers and pouring into men who basically aren't on the level. Not grateful. Don't pour into no guys who are not willing to be reciprocal for this truth, that are not willing to put in the same effort, okay, and be on fire as it is with this truth, giving your energy to, because that can zap you out, and that's kind of my personality, is I have to measure out my levels of energy. You get tired real quick. So you want to be very careful of that. But when you're on sharp, you're operating on all cylinders. You're clicking. You know what to do, and that comes from Yahweh Shemi Ashai dealing with you, praying, fasting, and so on, and just being in the spirit of the Lord. I got, I think, one or two more. This is the book of Hebrews. I'm in the book of Hebrews 6 and 10. For the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your labors, your work of labor, of love, which ye shew toward his name, and that ye ministered to the saints, and do minister. We're all ministers. That's why we're in this ministry, and we do it out of love. We're prophets. We're disciples. Hopefully the elect. Hopefully the men of the Lord. So it takes work to do that. That means picking up doing things that you might not really want to do, as far as a leadership position or a leadership role. All right, but you got the tools. So if you got the tools, you might as well put them to work. All right, it doesn't make no sense that you just bought a bunch of tools and a bunch of weed clippers and lawnmowers and yard equipment if you're not going to use it. If you're just going to keep it in the shed, all right, you might as well sell it. But us, for this truth, we're going to put in that labor of love for Yahweh Shem Yahshai. And not getting off subject, but love is an action word. Somebody can tell you they love you all day, but does their actions follow up with that statement? That's how you find out if it's true love. And we know love is the keeping of the commandments. This is Colossians 3:20. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. And when I was a child, I had to go out and do work in the yard. I had to rake the leaves when those fall. I had to mow the lawn when it got hot outside. And if you was on your ground, you would mow other lawns for money, for cash, and it's just like, the apostles and elders are our spiritual fathers. Verse 21 says, fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. Verse 22, servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as man pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing the Most High. Khan, that's right. Not being a eye service and man pleasers is basically going into doing the work so you can seem like you're on a level in this truth, but you're really lacking. And that can be sometimes in the beginning be something you have to work on, being a parrot, just speaking on things that you hardly did research on. Because when brothers go into research, we have to research on top of research to get the in-depth of things, just for the satisfaction of knowing it, satisfaction in your mind of a subject, a scripture, the history. So it can be easily seen on camera that that everything is clicking on all cylinders, but knowledge cannot be there. So it's always good to keep the tools ready, keep them sharp, and keep them in the trunk, just in case you gotta pull them out, gotta pull something out and use it. Because as you use a drill, you gotta find different drill bits, whatever fits whatever you're working on. But I ain't gonna make this too long. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. And give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, Bashim Rachak Quadash, the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.